Hey guys, welcome to Projects. In this video I will be showing you how to configure a Raspberry Pi without the use of a dedicated monitor. You can use a laptop's monitor or a desktop's monitor, and you can access Raspberry Pi via your network without the use of a HDMI cable or a VGA cable. And let's see how to do it. Alright. Before starting with the process, make sure you download the correct image file from the Raspberry Pi website. You can refer the link which I have given in the description below. Now you can just right click and extract using any of the zip archive extractors. Now make sure the image file is extracted properly before moving on to the next step. Insert the memory card and make sure the Windows can detect the memory card now. For this step we will be using Win32 disk imager software to burn the image file onto the SD card. So open the Win32 disk imager software and make sure the SD card is detected by the software. Now click on the browse icon and select the Raspberry Pi OS image file which you have extracted in the previous step. Now click on the right button on the software, and if some error message or a warning message displays, just click on yes and let the software do its job. And it might take a while before it gets completed, and once you get the message write successful, click on the OK button and just go into the My Computer and check whether the SD card has been written successfully. If it shows as boot, then the process is successful. It is fairly the same process in Linux, just like the Windows. You can use either the command line or the GUI to extract the image file. Open the bash shell and navigate to the folder where you have extracted the image file, and use an ls command to make sure the file name and the file size are displayed correctly. Now use df space -h command to display all the mounted devices in the system, and note down the device which corresponds to the memory card, and now use an umount command to unmount the partition of the memory card. If your memory card is having more than one partitions, use a separate umount command to unmount each of the partitions. Now again use df -h command to make sure the partitions have been unmounted successfully. Now use the dd command to write the image file onto the memory card. Use a sudo in front of dd because dd command needs admin rights, and use sudo wherever you need admin rights. Now use sudo dd if is equal to name of the image file, and of will be the output file, and where you will be specifying the path of the memory card which we have just unmounted. But while specifying the path, don't mention any partitions, just give mmc blk0, that's it. So as soon as you finish writing your image, Raspberry image on the SD card, insert the SD card into the micro SD slot. I have been using a Raspberry Pi case, so I will be inserting the micro SD to the card slot, and once you hear the click sound, it's in. Now just connect to any of the Wi-Fi router through a LAN port. So just insert the LAN cable. Today I will be using a TP-Link Wi-Fi router, and I can connect the Raspberry Pi to any of these 4 ports. So technically this will be the connection. Okay, this is the Raspberry Pi, the Raspbian OS inserted through the memory card, and which is connected to our Wi-Fi router. Now connect to the network to which the Raspberry Pi device is connected, and in my case I have to connect to the TP-Link Wi-Fi router through Wi-Fi or a LAN cable connected from my system to the Wi-Fi router. And every Wi-Fi router has an IP address which can get you into its admin page, and once you log into the admin page of your Wi-Fi router, just go into the page which shows all the devices that is currently connected to the device. Once you go there, you can see your Raspberry Pi device, please note down the IP address which is displayed next to the Raspberry Pi. That will be the IP address which the router assigns to your specific Raspberry Pi device. It might vary from time to time, but once you use a static IP, your Raspberry Pi will be having a constant IP address. Trying to set up your Raspberry Pi device from a Windows OS, you will be using a Putty software, which is an open source SSH client, and in case of Linux you can use the terminal emulator which has SSH inbuilt. And now just giving your IP address of the Raspberry Pi and login using the username and password, which is PI, and the password is Raspberry, and now you can get logged in to your account. Once you get access into your Raspberry Pi, don't go and mess up with the system files, because the Raspberry Pi won't be detecting the entire whole memory of the SD card. So to expand the memory, you have to use sudo raspi config command, which can configure the Raspberry Pi and which is safe to run it during the first run. So just type in sudo raspi -config. So in this console, click on the first option which can expand your file system, and which will say that the file system will be expanded upon the next reboot. Now you can set the default login menu, whether your system has to log in into GUI or a command line by default, and you can just explore all other options. And once you are done, click on the finish, which will prompt to reboot, and click on yes to reboot the Raspberry Pi. Now log in into your Raspberry Pi account using SSH space PI at 192.168.0.101. The IP address may differ depending on the type of router and the network you are using. And once you are successfully logged into the Pi account on the Raspberry Pi, use sudo apt get update command to update all the download repositories, and it might take a while depending on the internet connection speed. Until this point, we can successfully log into the Pi account via terminal, but to get into the desktop or GUI, we need a remote desktop server, which is XRDP. So go ahead and install XRDP software using the command sudo apt get xrdp. Once the installation is over, you can use any of the remote desktop connection tools on Linux to log into the Raspberry Pi desktop. I am comfortable in using Remina, REMMINA, and I am using a Debian OS, and Remina works just fine out of the box. So on the Remina tool, I have to give the Raspberry Pi's IP address and log in using the username and password, which is Pi and Raspberry. But sometimes I find during the first login attempt it fails, and the second login attempt is successful on the Linux. I guess there is a bug with the Remina tool, which I have to get checked up, and voila, at last we can finally log into the Raspberry Pi desktop and happy developing. And for users of Windows, you can use the remote desktop connection, which you can find under the accessories, and put in your Raspberry Pi's IP address and click on connect, which might prompt for the username and password. Put in Pi and the password is Raspberry, and it might take a while before you're taken into the desktop, because the Raspberry Pi doesn't have that much processing power to stream an entire desktop via remote desktop connection. It might take quite a while before you're taken to the desktop, and once you're logged into the desktop, you're good to go, and you have successfully set up the Raspberry Pi without a monitor. Thank you.